All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our September 1st City Council agenda. I now call this meeting to order. The Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation, should he desire, will be by Councilman Byrd tonight.
Thank you, Chair. Proper salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all.
Move the agenda, please.
Thank you, sir. We do have a special presentation tonight, and we're going to recognize at this time Councilman Oglesby to present that to us.
Thank you. Lydia, do you see Mr. Terry on the?
I did not a minute ago, but I will look again. Is it SAMTERRY?
Yeah. If you give me a second.
I'm not seeing him yet.
Okay.
He's not on yet, sir.
Councilman, what would you?
Hold on just 1 second.
Okay.
Message system 42398.
If I may, should he come on shortly, can we go back to that if you don't mind, Mr. Chair, Council?
I'll tell you what, we'll look for him under other business. How would that be?
That would be great.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
All right. We move to our minute approval. What's the pleasure of the council?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Burrs?
Yes.
Councilman Byrd?
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert?
Yes.
Councilman Ledford?
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell?
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby?
Yes.
Councilman Vice Chairman Smith?
Yes.
And Chairman Henderson?
Yes.
That's 8 yeses.
All right, very well. Motion carries to approve the minutes. All right, we'll have to give Miss Lydia a little bit of leeway this afternoon as she's hosting the meeting as well as performing the duties of our clerk. So we now move into the business of our council. We'll go to ordinances on final reading. Miss Lydia, Madam Clerk, ordinances on final reading 5A, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38, Zoning Ordinance, Article 16, Downtown Chattanooga Form-Based Code relative to recommended improvements based on the 1-year review.
Councilman Ledford.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move to approve, but I would like to, if someone from 2, 7, or 8 would like to jump in, I'll second it.
Yes, I will be glad to second that, Councilman. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor with a proper second to approve. Questions or comments before we vote? Okay, if not, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Oglesby?
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell?
Yes.
Councilman Ledford?
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert?
Yes.
Councilman Byrd?
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith?
Yes.
Chairman Henderson?
Yes.
Beautiful. That is 8 yeses.
So moved. All right. 5. I'm sorry?
Yeah, I was just noticing we had one, and we can do this at the end. I just want to get a clarification. We got one phone call and listener. What does that mean? That's the first time I've seen that.
Somebody just may have dialed in using the dial-up number.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And
Thank you.
that could be That could be Mr. Terry.
That could be.
Okay. All right. Let's move to 5B, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, Zoning Ordinance, Article 5, Zoning Regulations, Division 5, RTZ, Residential Townhouse Zero Lot Line Zone, to delete the maximum density requirements and to establish minimum lot size requirements for single-family detached and townhouse dwellings, and to permit a maximum of 4 dwellings on 1 lot within the urban overlay zone.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? Councilman Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I voted for this last week, but in the last week I've spoken to several constituents, and they brought to my attention that with the study coming up, you know, their first question was, what's the rush of making these changes? And it basically came out that they feel like this is something being done for a developer that has a project they want to do, and they didn't feel comfortable with that, we'd be passing zoning changes for potentially an individual. So I'll be voting against this tonight. In other words, changing my vote. I just wanted the council to know that.
All right. Any other comments? Councilwoman Burrs.
Yes, I agree with what Mr. Mitchell is doing, and I'm withdrawing my second. If someone else wants to go forward, they may.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Oglesby. Do I have a second? Do I have a second from anyone else? We have a motion on the floor to approve. Do I have a second? Not hearing a second, the motion will die for lack of a second. Okay. Moving on. We have no ordinances on first reading. We now move to resolutions. We will, if there's no objection from the council, I would like to take A, B, and C together. There's no objections. Okay. Madam Clerk, if you would read A, B, and C, please.
Yes, sir. A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a release of declaration of restrictive covenants for the Dogwood Manor property located at 959 Gateway Avenue, identified as tax parcel number 145C B006. A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Economic and Community Development enter into an agreement with the Chattanooga Area Regional Council of Governments, Southeast Tennessee Development District, for the management of the city's Environmental Protection Agency Brownfields Cleanup Grant Program for a 3-year term commencing September 1st, 2020 and ending September 30th, 2023, with an option to renew for an additional 1-year term for a total of 4 years. A resolution authorizing the Director of Wireless Communications to enter into a service agreement with Motorola Solutions for integration of the Motorola Astro radio network with the microwave and multi-protocol label switching system upgrade in the amount of $747,199.
All right, what's the pleasure of the council? Councilman Ledford, followed by Councilwoman Burrs.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This does have one district labeled, and I'd like to yield to that council member if he'd like to make a motion.
Yes.
Well, hold on, we've got Councilwoman Burrs' hand up. Second. Councilwoman Burrs?
Fine with that. I was going to second Councilman Ledford.
Okay.
Go for it.
Councilman Oglesby?
Yeah. Move to approve.
Second. Thank you, Dr. Burke.
Okay, now we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Do we have any questions or comments before we vote? If not, roll call, please.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes.
That's 8 yeses.
All right, so moved. Glad to have you back, Madam Clerk. The process you have in place worked. Show went on. All right, if you would, let's read D and E together at this time if there's no objection from the council.
Lydia, you're welcome to read D.
I will do that. A resolution to confirm the mayor's appointment of William Glasscock to the Beer and Wrecker Board representing District 8 with a term expiration of July 31st, 2022. A resolution to confirm the mayor's appointment of Veronica Park to the Chattanooga Historic Zoning Commission.
Okay, I have Councilman Ledford, followed by Councilman Byrd.
I apologize, my hand is an old one, sir, but
Old hand.
I will move to approve if.
Okay, very well.
And I will second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? If not, roll call, please. Okay.
Councilwoman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson.
Yes,
That's 8 yeses.
so moved. Now let's move down to planning item F, please.
A resolution authorizing the director of the Chattanooga-Hamilton County Regional Planning Agency to enter into an agreement with Camiros Limited for the City of Chattanooga Zoning Code Assessment to provide recommendations for updates and improvements in the amount of $93,643.
Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We covered this quite extensively in planning and zoning today, and I feel very comfortable with moving forward with this. So with that, I'd like to move to approve.
We have a motion on the floor to
Second.
approve. We now have a proper second. Questions or concerns before we vote? If not, our tag team will now give us a roll call.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Byrd,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson.
Yes,
8 yeses.
motion carries 8-0. All right, let's move to item 7G, please.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Hamilton County relative to the Courts Community Service Program for fiscal year 2020 to 2021 between the City of Chattanooga and Hamilton County for an amount not to exceed $60,000.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve with a proper second. Questions or concern? Councilman Mitchell?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I asked a couple of weeks ago, how much say does the city of Chattanooga actually have in where these folks in this program are deployed? And I never received an answer.
Well, let's see if Mr. Holland is still on the call with us.
I don't see him, sir.
I don't either. I'll tell you what, wait a minute. Somebody's got their hand up here. Who's got their hand?
Bill Payne?
Bill Payne's got their hand up. Bring Bill in.
All right.
All right, Mr. Payne, if you'd unmute.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good. Did you hear Councilman Mitchell's question?
I heard part of it that he said that he had asked for some information about the litter program and the deployment, but I want to be sure I got that. I do not have that information, but I'll be glad to take that back to try to get that. But I apologize that I'm not familiar with that program.
Well, Councilman Mitchell, did you want to repeat your question, or?
I'll show something in the vote here in a minute.
Okay, all right. All right, thank you, Mr. Payne.
Certainly, my pleasure.
Okay. Any other questions or comments before we vote? If not, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
No.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson.
Yes.
That's 7-1.
Okay, motion carries 7-1. All right, Miss Lydia, if you would bring in Mr. Salmons while we are pulling up our purchases for this afternoon. Council, if you would
Yes, sir.
pull up your purchases for this afternoon as Mr. Salmons comes on. Good afternoon, Mr. Salmons.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of council. We have a few purchases for your approval this evening, starting with the Waste Resource Division of Public Works. We have the purchase of sewer pipes being awarded to Piping Supply Company and Consolidated Pipe and Supply for a total estimated annual spend of $50,000. Next, from the Chattanooga Police Department, we have janitorial services being awarded to Metro Janitorial Services Incorporated for an estimated annual cost of $70,020. Next, from the Finance Department, we have the services of printing, folding, stuffing, mailing, and postage for tax bills, OSAP bills, summons, and permit invoices being awarded to Level 1 for an estimated annual cost of $80,000. And last, we have from the Citywide Services Division of Public Works, storm cleanup, tree removal, and trimming services being awarded to Big Woody's Tree Service LLC for an estimated annual cost of $60,000. Mr. Chairman, that concludes our purchases for this evening.
All right, thank you, Mr. Salmons. What is the pleasure of the council?
Move to approve.
Second.
Second. Yeah.
We have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? If not, roll call, please.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
No.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson.
Yes.
That is 7 yeses.
So motion carries 7-1. All right, thank you, Mr. Salmons. And Miss Lydia has already taken him away. All right, now we move to other business. Councilman Oglesby, I'm still not seeing Mr. Terry.
I see.
Mr.
He's
Terry,
on there. I believe, as we mentioned earlier, he's the phone caller. So is it possible to bring him up like that?
well,
One
Mr.
second.
Vice Chair?
Wait a minute. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I see an SGT listed.
Okay, that's it. That's
Is
probably.
that him?
Okay. If
Okay.
SGT is Mr. Terry, would, if you know how to raise your hand, if you could raise your hand and be recognized. Or do we just want
It
to
may
take?
not. Let's give it a go. Oh, never mind.
Nope.
I know who
Oh,
SGT is. That is not who we're looking for.
That's not, yeah,
That's not him. Okay.
That's not Sam Terry, no.
Okay. Well,
Do you know
then,
do you know the telephone number,
uh,
Councilman?
his number is. Just a moment. Where you at, Sam? 423. The newfangled phone. Give me just a second.
You need a flip phone, sir.
I really do. Really do, trying to get too fancy. Trying to be like vice chair, have all the technology.
Yeah.
Okay, his number is 423-987. Does that look familiar?
No, that's not the number that's called in.
Okay.
All right, sir. I'm not sure.
I'll give him,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other business that needs to come before the council at this time? Okay, I'm seeing no hands. Let's go to committee reports. Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Planning and Zoning did meet today. We covered all of the items on our agenda.
Good deal. Councilman Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We had Public Works and Transportation Committee with a great presentation from the Youth and Family Development as it related to both operational and capital spending. We will have another Public Works and Transportation meeting in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you. Very thorough report today. Vice Chair Smith.
No report, Mr. Chair.
Councilwoman Burrs.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we'll have a Budget and Finance Committee meeting next week.
Okay, very well. Councilman Gilbert.
No report.
Councilman Byrd.
No report, sir.
Councilman Oglesby.
Oh, yes,
unmute.
I do. I have a economic and community development report on September the 15th, and we'll be getting a presentation from the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, you want a committee meeting on the 15th?
A committee meeting. Yes, sir. I'm sorry
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, okay. All right, very well. All right, any other reports that we need to bring before the council? If not,
But one more thing, I do want to, if I may, Mr. Chair,
sure.
I just spoke with Mr. Terry, and he's in his car, so he's actually leaving to go to Illinois tomorrow
Okay.
to take care of his 91-year-old mother, and that's the reason why he's living. But I do want to public acknowledge Sam. I know he would really appreciate it, and I'll have a conversation with him after this. But you know, he has been in broadcast for over 30 years, and he has been at WNOO for 16 years. And he has done a phenomenal job in how he has supported this community, how he has kept us informed, and how he has given us avenues to talk about issues that are really important to not only Chattanooga, to the region as a whole. And he has been an extremely good friend of mine. I've appreciated the support. He has even allowed this council to have a monthly program where we were each able to come on and share with the community things that's happening in our district and how we work together as a team to make our city a better place for all. So if I may, I'd just like to read this recognition for outstanding contribution to the city of Chattanooga. The title of Distinguished Citizen is being bestowed upon Sam Terry. We recognize Brother Sam for 30+ years in broadcasting and for his service to fellow citizens in Chattanooga as the program director and operations manager of WNOO Radio, and as a producer of the community awareness program, which we'll all miss him hosting every day, Monday through Friday at 2 o'clock. So I really hate to see him go, as well as the rest of the community, but he's going to Illinois to take care of his 91-year-old mother. And you can't ask for a better opportunity to have to leave a place to spend that kind of quality time with your mother. So with that being said, I will make sure Sam gets this certificate on behalf of us, and support and recognition for the great service he has done to Chattanooga while he was here. Thank you, Council, for allowing me to share that.
Yeah, thank you for that recognition. I was on his show many times and always enjoyed going on. A great host. Councilwoman Burns.
Thank you, Sam.
Councilman Oglesby, thank you so much for doing this. Sam is a friend. I've enjoyed being on his show. I've enjoyed working with him. It's our loss. He's an honorable man, a great broadcaster. And Sam, I don't know if you'll see a repeat of this. Thank you for all you've done. Godspeed, and I wish your mother well.
Thank you.
I'll twist his arm to make sure that he gets a chance to look at this remotely. Yeah.
Good.
Councilman Gilbert.
Just want to say we're going to miss Sam, but he had that special voice. You know it's him when he starts speaking. We definitely will miss him.
Councilman Byrd.
Thank you, Chair. Sam, I've been knowing him since I was a kid, traveling with a group called The New Beginning. Him and another radio promoter were the first ones to ever play our record all over the world. And once he put our record in with WNOO, we started to take off. And I just want to thank him for that opportunity, and thank Sam for all the times he allowed me to come and express myself as a council person and just listen to the people. He always had a connection with the community, and the community loved Sam, and they respected Sam's opinion. And so I just want to thank him for all the years of service, and I can't wait to see him again. And I wish his mother well. I wish him well, and I know he's going to do great things. So take care of yourself, Sam.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Sam. It's been an honor. You're a true gentleman, and Godspeed, my brother.
All right. Anyone else? Okay. If not, Vice Chair, do we have anyone signed up to speak this afternoon?
Yes, sir, we do. Looks like about 6 people that are registered so far, sir.
All right. Okay. To those that are an attendee, we now come to the time on our agenda where we recognize persons wishing to address the council. So if you have registered to speak and you'd like to do so at this time, would you please raise your hand while I ask the city attorney to read our rules of engagement?
Yes, sir. And we have rules of engagement that are effective as of August the 28th of 2020, based upon the executive order number 60 of the governor that extends remote meetings and implements best practices to try to have transparent government while protecting the health and safety of the citizens of the state of Tennessee. That new executive order extends the time for electronic meetings such as this through October the 28th of 2020, and the rules that this council have adopted up until this point in time have tried to ensure that people have access to this type of meeting in electronic format each time. This is the public comment section of the business meeting of the council. And at the end of every council business meeting, the chair will recognize members of the public who wish to address the council, and here's your rules. Each speaker wishing to address the council can only be recognized at the podium that we have. It's normally a microphone in front of the meeting, but here it is on the phone or on this Zoom meeting that we have. And when you're going to talk, please provide your name, address, and council district so that they know which person can respond to you best. No person can have more than 3 minutes to speak, and you can address the council only upon matters within their legislative and quasi-judicial authority, and not upon matters which are regulated by other governmental agencies. You can only use proper language. Do not use any vulgar or obscene language, nor use the floor to personally attack or personally denigrate others. And do not address your comments to anyone other than the council as a whole, and not towards individual council members. So having stated all that, please come on now here as directed by the chair.
Okay, Vice Chair, would you go ahead and put the 3-minute clock up and verify that Christopher Corley?
Yes, Mr. Corley's on there.
Okay. All right, Miss Lydia, would you bring in Christopher Corley, please?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Go ahead, sir.
Hi, Dr. Christopher Corley, District 2, he, him pronouns, please. I'm calling as a response to last week's presentation of the policing and racial equity data set. I want to commend the city's work to gather, maintain, and analyze data on key issues in a transparent manner. I think this kind of thing absolutely rules, and I hope that we continue to see more of it. Specifically, I also appreciate that Police Chief Roddy recognizes and acknowledges that we need to work on creating a more equitable future with regards to some topics. One of the topics that was covered extensively was about economic citations causing a vicious cycle, quote, a quicksand that people get stuck in. This is a measurement of a systemic racist outcome. By that I mean, it's not that each individual officer that gives out one of these tickets is necessarily racist, it's that the citations uphold and cause racist outcomes because of the policies we've enacted. Now that we know there's a disproportionate effect, what we choose to do or even not do matters. So what do we have available to us to address this? The two options that I see us having, which are not exhaustive, are either to change the system to be more equitable, that is, policy and local code changes, or we must not enforce a racist system. I think the chief himself stated that there is nothing the police can do to solve this. These citations are called non-discretionary, which I don't personally believe is a thing that exists. Every citation is discretionary, just maybe not from a legal standpoint. Every officer could take it upon themselves to simply not give out a citation, much like how Chief Roddy announced he would not enforce mask mandates. We could not enforce a citation that we know causes undesirable outcomes. We could also work to amend our city code to amend these to be discretionary, less financially punitive, or provide alternative sentencing, like litter cleanup. There are many other examples of the code that need to be amended. These are parts of the code that only seem to be around in order to be enforced when convenient to the enforcers. I don't believe that systemic change occurs by following the rules. In fact, the system is not defined by its rules, but how they are enforced. Systemic change occurs because people begin to make decisions that break rules and challenge enforcement. This needs to occur not only by those outside the system, that is the people, but also those that we elect to implement these systems. I understand that someone's going to say there's no jurisdiction for us to do this. To that I say, who cares? The state legislator doesn't seem to have a problem passing unconstitutional law after unconstitutional law. So why don't we try bending and amending the code for the benefit of the people for once? Thank you.
All right. Is there anyone else that has registered to speak that would like to do so? Vice Chair Casey Crook, good to go?
Yes.
All right, Miss Lydia, would you
Yes,
bring
sir.
in Casey Crook, please?
Yes, sir.
Hey, my name is Casey Crook. I use he or they pronouns, whichever ones, and I am calling in part to follow up on some of the discussion last week.
Mr. Crook, I
I'm
need
in District 3. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
I guess I've not had enough practice at this, but the discussion last week about homelessness and the response that I received, I wanted to re-emphasize that the homeless population is comprised of human beings worthy and like deserving of respect and help and aid, and that the city of Chattanooga is not only capable of providing that help, but also you've shown like effect in actually following through on those things. And what I would like the council to do is double down on those efforts more so in ways that benefit those experiencing housing security, whether that be affordable housing or low income housing, or even helping to house people that don't currently have homes. Additionally, I wanted to voice some concerns. I guess not concerns, but like I wanted to voice my opinion on what Councilor Ledford mentioned earlier with the TR3 tornado relief legislation that he's working on, and I wanted to voice that I didn't hear if that included residences, and I think if it does not, it definitely should, because I think although obviously helping out schools and businesses is important, that I think helping out residences, I would say is just as important, if not more so. And additionally, I would like to also state that although we're seeking to grandfather housing regulations and codes, I think that should not be at the expense of health and environmental regulations. So I don't think that a house that was built in 1930 should get rebuilt with asbestos, for instance, or lead paint. I just wanted that to not be an oversight, because I think those are important things to consider. Housing for all, justice for all, all the other things that I continue to call about, but I'll yield my time.
All right. Anyone else who has registered to speak that would like to do so at this time, would you please raise your hand? Okay, council, I am seeing no hands at this time. What's the pleasure of the council?
Move to adjourn.
So moved. We're adjourned. See you next week.
Thank you.